The game I plan on building with the team I put together will be story-driven, three-dimensional, third-person, high-angled, perspective platforming, dungeon crawl style action and adventure game. This is the team structure for my game development. At the top is the producer, who will oversee the entire development and make sure deadlines and milestones are met. They will be required to work on a full-time contract for the entire project. The story writers will write the story of the game and also script and screenplay for the voice actors. We will require 3 story writers for a 2-month contract on a part-time basis. The sound designers will create the sound effects and also compose the music for the menus and the theme of the game that will be used in more cinematic moments. We will need 5 sound designers that will be on a 2-month contract on a freelance basis. The localization team will make sure that the game is appropriate and accessible to all countries and cultures, making sure different builds of the game adhere to laws and understandings in those countries. We will need 2 localization experts for 2 months on a freelance contract. Period experts will need to be specialists in the era chosen for the game and must be good at educating the design section of staff on their specialist period. We will need 2 period experts for 2 months on a freelance basis. Voice actors will voice the characters in the game. Both the main and side characters will have voice work done, and also there will be small parts of narration. We will need 8 voice actors on a freelance basis for 4 months. The finance department will manage the financials of the company, keeping us in budget and responsible for paying the employees. We will need 3 accountants for the entire project on a full-time basis. The advertising team will be responsible for pushing the game via trailers and advertising campaigns, trying to create awareness for the game. We will need 5 employees for the advertising team on a full-time basis for 8 months for the project. The head programmer will oversee the programming of the game. They will be in charge of the AI programmers and UI programmers. They will need to be the highest skilled and experienced programmer. We will need the head programmer for the entire project full-time. Artificial intelligence programmers will program the NPCs and enemies. We will need 10 AI programmers for 4 months on a full-time contract. The UI programmers will create and code the menus and head-up display. We will need 2 UI programmers for 3 months on a part-time contract. The head artists will oversee the artistic side of the game. They will have the final say on important design choices and be in charge of the character designers, environment designers, animators, concept artists, and texture artists. The head artists will oversee the artistic side of the game. They will have the final say on important design choices and be in charge of the character designers, environment designers, animators, concept artists, and texture artists. We will need the head artist full-time for the entire project. Character artists will model and rig characters. We will need 12 character artists for 8 months on a full-time basis. The environment artists will create all the buildings, landscapes, and objects in the game. We will need 12 environment artists for 8 months on a full-time basis. Animators will animate everything that needs animation in the game. We will need 10 animators for 4 months on a full-time basis. Concept artists will create sketches for the design team to use as a reference when creating the game in 3D. We will need 4 concept artists for 3 months on a part-time basis. Texture artists will be creating the textures that are used in the game. We will need 5 texture artists for 8 months on a part-time basis. The technician will be a member of staff who will be the caretaker of the computers and make sure that the technical needs of the staff are met. We will need a technician full-time for the entire project. The cleaner will keep the workspace clean. We will need 1 cleaner part-time for the entire project. The office manager is in charge of administrative jobs. We will need an office manager for the entire project on a full-time contract. The solicitor will be in charge of the company's legal dealings. We will need an office solicitor for the entire project on a part-time contract. The HR department will deal with all employee complaints. We will need 1 human resources representative for the entire project on a full-time contract. The formula for calculating employee holiday is total months contracted divided by 2 equals weeks available as holiday. Any employees contracted to 3 or less months is not eligible for holiday. All contracts contain a non-disclosure agreement clause which states employees are not to disclose any information about the game or company in question under any circumstances. We will acquire the employees through advertisements for work placements on reputable websites. We will pay for some advertisements on websites for particular employment opportunities that require high skill, as we wouldn't want to compromise the quality of the people we wish to hire. In interviews, interviewers should look for people who come across friendly and hardworking. They must also have at least 2 prior experiences working in a similar setup as our company.